A guy pulls up to a private airfield in a car worth $11,000. Next to him, a hedge fund manager rolls in with something worth $90,000. Guess who owns 3 more houses than the other one? It's not the guy in the $90,000 car. Old money figured out something decades ago that new money is still catching up to. The car isn't a scoreboard. It's not there to prove anything to anyone standing in a parking lot. And once you see the 5 things they actually care about, you'll never look at a driveway full of luxury SUVs the same way again.
The first thing has nothing to do with horsepower or badges. It's how a door sounds when it closes. Sit in a car that old money picked out, close the door, and you'll hear this dense, muted thud, like closing a bank vault. Sit in a car that someone bought to impress the neighbors, and the door sounds hollow, almost tinny, even if the sticker price says luxury. That sound is engineering. It's insulation, weight distribution, weld quality, the stuff that costs real money but never shows up in a photo. Old money doesn't care what the car looks like in a picture.
They care what it feels like at 70 miles an hour in the rain when nobody's watching, because that's when a car actually has to work. That's the moment a badge means nothing and build quality means everything. And this obsession with quality over appearance, it shows up even more in the second thing, which is something almost nobody notices until it's pointed out to them. Old money buys cars that are boring to look at from a distance, but ridiculous once you're inside them. Think about it.
A lot of these families drive around in cars that, from 50 feet away, look like something a dentist would own. Same shape as 10 other cars on the road. No spoilers, no chrome, no oversized grille screaming for attention. But open the door and the leather is stitched by hand. The wood trim is real wood, cut from a single tree so the grain matches perfectly across the dashboard. And the switches feel like they were machined for a jet cockpit. This is completely intentional. Old money learned generations ago that flashy cars attract 2 things: attention and thieves.
A car that screams money on the outside is basically a billboard. A car that whispers money on the inside is a private joke only the owner gets to enjoy. And once you understand that logic, the whole idea of buying a car to impress strangers starts to look almost embarrassing. Which brings us to something even more interesting, because the third thing old money looks for actually contradicts everything you'd expect from wealthy people. They want a car that's easy to fix. Not cheap, easy. There's a difference. A lot of exotic cars and flashy luxury brands are nightmares to repair. Parts take months to arrive from overseas. Only 3 mechanics in the entire state are certified to touch the engine. One warning light can turn into a $4,000 bill just for a diagnostic. Old money hates this. Not because of the money, they can obviously afford it, but because of the disruption. They think in terms of decades, not seasons. A car that sits in a shop for 6 weeks waiting on a part from Germany isn't a status symbol. It's a liability. So a lot of old money families actually gravitate toward brands with boring reputations for reliability. Cars that any competent shop in any town can service same day. Because to them, convenience is the real luxury. Not horsepower, not 0 to 60 times. The ability to never have to think about the car at all. And that idea, the ability to not think about something, connects directly to the 4th thing, which might be the most counterintuitive one on this list. Old money keeps their cars for a long time, like uncomfortably long by normal standards. 8 years, 12 years, sometimes even longer, until the thing has more than 200,000 miles on it and looks completely unremarkable in the driveway. And this isn't because they can't afford a new one. It's because buying a new car every 2 years signals something they specifically want to avoid signaling, which is insecurity. Think about who actually trades in their car constantly. It's usually someone trying to keep up an image, someone whose self-worth is tied to what's parked outside. Old money doesn't operate that way. Their identity was settled generations before they were born. They don't need a car refresh to feel relevant. In fact, driving an older car on purpose in a nice neighborhood is almost a flex in reverse. It says, I don't need this car to tell you who I am. And weirdly, that's more intimidating to people than a brand new car ever could be. Now, here's where it gets almost strange, because the 5th thing old money looks for in a car isn't really about the car at all. It's about what the car doesn't say. Old money is obsessed with avoiding anything that looks like it's trying too hard. No loud paint colors, no aggressive body kits, no massive logos plastered across the grille or the wheels.
Because to them, a car that's trying to prove wealth is actually revealing the opposite, a kind of financial anxiety, a need for validation that real old money families were trained out of from childhood. There's an old saying among people who grew up around serious generational wealth. If you have to tell people you're rich, you're not old money. And cars are one of the clearest examples of this rule in action. A flashy car practically begs people to notice it. A quiet, understated car doesn't need anyone's approval. It already knows what it is.
So here's the pattern once you connect all 5 things. The sound of a door, the invisible details hidden inside, the obsession with easy repairs, keeping the same car for a decade, and avoiding anything that looks like it's trying too hard. None of it is about the car. It's about control. Old money doesn't want a car that controls their time, their attention, their image, or their emotions. They want something that just works, quietly, in the background, for years, without asking for anything in return.
And that $11,000 car from the beginning, the one parked next to the $90,000 SUV, it wasn't an accident. It wasn't a budget decision. It was a choice made by someone who learned a long time ago that the real flex isn't what your car says about you. It's that you never needed it to say anything at all. If this kind of stuff makes you think differently, buying me a coffee through the link below helps me keep making it. Every cup genuinely helps.